That will be my time. Hi, it's really great to finally see you guys here. Now, recently, I have been greatly inspired by the virtue of human resilience. In the last couple of years, there are many issues going on around us that are affecting our industry in a lot of ways. We are experiencing a series of climate challenges. Now, together, we also went through a global pandemic. All this has been really challenging for us, but each and every time, our resilience prevails. We adapt, and together we find solution. So today, I really like to share with you these stories that has inspired me. Example of strength and resilience, how human manage to bounce back and thrive at that new adapted stage. So in front of each of you, I've prepared a tablet to guide you through our story today. Please swipe the tablet to the left side to follow our first story. Now, the first example of human resilience comes from our friend in Colombia. Like many other producing countries, they are experiencing a series of climate challenges. They're altering their harvest volume and even the taste of their coffee. So they know they needed to do something in order to solve this issue. What did they do? As you can see on section 1 on the screen in front of you, the National Coffee Research Center of Colombia decided to work together with local coffee producer, the Herrera family. Now together, they decided to design a new cultivar. As you can see in section 2, they decided to start with self-pollinating Caturra, which is more resistant to diseases. Now they crossed this Caturra with Timor for its yield. However, upon tasting it, they figured they can improve the coffee further by crossing it with Ethiopian lines such as Sudan Rume and Fila Sarchi. Now, after generations of experimenting, they finally found what they call as a Mandela cultivar, a high disease-resistant cultivar with acidity that is very similar to its Ethiopian line and brown body from its Timor heritage. The best part is it is 20% more yielding than its 100% Arabica counterpart. Now the coffee was then put in an anaerobic environment and dried as natural. So to further enhance the fruity characteristic, as you can see in section 3, I decided to dose 20 grams of coffee to yield 45 grams of espresso in about 23 seconds. Now, I look at Mandela as one example of human resilience. They're facing some challenges. However, they managed to adapt and find a solution. Now, please hold on from tasting this. Your espresso has medium sweetness with medium acidity and also medium bitterness. It has medium weight with round, juicy texture that will remind you of grapefruit. Now, it has oolong tea finish, and the flavors are amazing. It will remind you of pink grapefruit, Riesling, and also candied orange peel. Before you enjoy this cup, please pick up the spoon and stir 10 times. You can put the spoon back to where you find it. Please enjoy. Now, when you're ready, please swap the tablet in front of you to the left side for our next story. Now, the next example of human resilience comes from my home country, Indonesia. Over there, we have our own set of climate challenges. Diseases are widely spread, and we do not have the same genetic diversity that Colombia has. What we have there is a commonly found cultivar that is very similar to the Katimor hybrid called Kartika. Now, Kartika is available in most of coffee growing region in Indonesia. However, due to where it derives from, it lacks flavor and tastes mediocre. So we know we needed to do something in order to solve this issue. What did we do? Now, as you can see on section 1 in front of you, a group of coffee processors decided to work together with coffee scientists to figure out the best way to improve this coffee through pro-surface processing method. Now, they finally found a way to isolate a specific yeast strain from the coffee cherry to be reintroduced back to the coffee fermentation. This allows more esters in fermentations, which will later on give us more floral and fruity flavor precursor. The best part is the fermentations was done in full control so they can engineer the flavor that they want. The coffee that you're about to enjoy comes from Mount Kintamani in Bali. Grow at a high elevations of 15 to 1600 meters above sea level, the coffee cherry is packed with sugar content, which later on will translate as sweetness into your cup. As you can see, on the second section in front of you, the coffee was then put in an anaerobic environment and later on dried as natural. This was done to fully enhance the fruity characteristic. And to extract the best potential out of it today, I decided to dose 20 grams of coffee to yield later 34 grams of espresso. And I'll be using 100 ml cups for more balance. Now, as a coffee professional, I understand my role in also be resilient in improving the beverage that I'll serve you today. So I decided to do something different in preparing the milk that I'm going to use. To see how I prepare this milk, please swipe the tablet in front of you to the left side. And I'll be right back with you. Now please hold on from tasting this as I serve you. As you can see on the screen in front of you, I decided to use a rotary evaporator to prepare this milk. Basically, we put fresh milk into a vacuum chamber. Now this allows us to lower down the boiling point by lowering the atmospheric pressure inside, allowing us to evaporate water content in 40 degrees Celsius. Now this allows us to concentrate the milk, giving us a creamier and also sweeter milk. Combining with this espresso today will give us a perfect balance in a cup. Now for me personally, this beverage is one example of human resilience, working together in improving our Indonesian coffee that is represented by this milk beverage today. And I can't wait for you to enjoy it. Now to fully enjoy this later on, please take at least 2 sips. On your first sip, you will find flavor of cherry and chocolate hazelnut spread. Now your second sip, you will find that creamy texture that will remind you of vanilla custard. Now please enjoy this milk beverage and I'll be right back with you. Enjoy, please enjoy. Now, for the last story, it's something that has inspired me personally and affecting most of us in the industry. Recently, our industry has been impacted greatly by global pandemic. We have to show our resilience in order to survive. Now, throughout this difficult time, I saw many new ideas and improvement that people made in order to deal with the situation. Now, back home in Indonesia, drinking ready-made coffee becomes a huge trend due to its accessibility. Now, one of the most selling items is this ice milk coffee because it can relate more to the wider audience. Because of this drink, our coffee consumption went up, and it helped the industry to survive. So for your signature beverage later on, it will be the representations of our resilience in the form of that elevated ice milk coffee. To see how I make this, please swipe the tablet in front of you to the left side for more and more time. To start with, I've made 4 shots of the Balik Kintamani by using 20 grams of coffee, yielding 40 grams of espresso in about 25 seconds. Now I poured this inside a hyper chill to let it cool down faster without diluting it. I will be doing the same with all the ingredients that I have today because your beverage will be served cold. Now the next ingredient is to represent our resilience. Now, this is to apply what we learned from Colombia. I have here with me figs. They're incredibly resilient and also drought resistant. However, it lacks flavor and tastes mediocre, just like the Timor hybrid. So we know the Timor hybrid was crossed with Ethiopian lines so that it can elevate the flavor. Now I decided to do the same by fermenting equal part figs with equal parts strawberry and mango, and with baker's yeast for 48 hours. Now I turned it into a reduction by cooking it with 1 part sugar and using 45 ml of this today will give us a transformative flavor and complex acidity that will remind you of our espresso earlier. Now next ingredients I have with me, banana. Now banana is available in high volume just like Kartika. However, because of its accessibility, sometimes it tasted quite generic. So to apply what I learned from Indonesia, I decided to use the same yeast strain from the coffee cherry to ferment this banana in a controlled environment of 30 degrees Celsius in 48 hours, turning this banana to this juice over here and combining 40 ml of this with my coffee today will give us a transformative flavor that will remind you of our milk beverage, cherry. Now lastly is the milk itself. Just like the ice milk coffee, milk is one of the main ingredients. So I decided to use the same milk that I used for your milk beverage earlier, 40 ml of that, to mimic that similar texture you have when you drink ice milk coffee. Now when you receive this drink later on, I'd like you to take at least 3 sips. Take your first sip straight away, swirling 3 times in between your sip. And on your first sip, please look out for grape candy aroma, followed by caramelized banana. Your second sip, the flavor will transform into cherry candy with yellow canned peach. Now on your last sip, you will find that flavor of blueberry jam that lingers throughout your last sip. Now lastly, I have made with me grape tea that I made with 1 part tea to 5 part water. Now I'm going to pour this over dry ice to create a fog. Now this fog represents our trial and difficulties. However, just like this fog, it will all dissipate and left us with a beautiful sense of content, which today will be represented by that grape candy aroma that will left in your glass later on. Now for me personally, resilience is so much more than just about surviving. It is about trust yourself. It is about bouncing back and more importantly, thriving at that new adapted stage. Thank you so much for your time with me today, and that will be my time.